Yeah, from now, I'm waiting for you to finish singing. Are we ready? Gary, YouTube's on? Good morning, Rabbi Sai. What a day we're going to have here. Unbelievable stuff. Sponsored by an amazing sponsor, Kalman Nathaniel Walkenstein. Happy 35th birthday. May you continue to go strong in your learning with Rebelli. Love, Esther, Shlomi, and Rafi.
I'm all confused. Is he from the 5 towns?
We're going to see soon.
This is a different comment.
This is not, this is different. This is different, Kalman. There's going to be an email. You'll understand everything. Nope. Michael Shields for the Refuah Shlema from my great uncle, Shlomo Simcha ben Tova, who happens to be Reb Eli's wife's aunt's brother. I have no idea, no clue. My wife, first of all, I have to figure that one out. My wife, okay, I got that. Aunt's brother. I know my wife's cousin is a Shields. Okay. You know who Shields is. The kid was on Zoom every day. Yeah. I should say hello to Morty Tiefenbaum. I read his email the other day. I said hello to him. Yeah, you're not paying. Nachman, Shir starts at 7:15. You're not paying attention. Sponsored by Tzvi Fine. You got to start mamish chazering these things. In honor of the yahrzeit of my father, Chaim Shrago ben Tzvi Doiva Kohen. May his neshama have an aliyah. Also for Refuah Shlema for our grandson, Shmuel Avram Fine. Donnie's son who's undergoing knee surgery this morning. May he have a speedy recovery. I also had knee surgery a bunch of times. ACL, this, that. Okay, fine. Here's the quick email. Once we're talking about shout-outs, David Address, who made that amazing song, I don't know if he brought people into the share through it or not, but he brought this one. Tzvi Kimmel is his friend that he brought in. Tzvi Kimmel, Shalom Aleichem Tzvi. This is from Esther Walkenstein. Hi. My husband's Hebrew birthday is on Sunday. He's a student of Rebelli, and Baruch Hashem, I get nachas seeing his enjoyment of love and learning for the Daf of the Rebelli. You might remember you recruited, she's talking to Yosef Bilyak. You might remember you recruited my husband at Osherad about 1.5 years ago. I didn't chap, he goes, you're in competition, Yeshua. Also at Osherad, he took a page out of your thing. That's where Yeshua got Barak from, Osherad. It's a big place to get caught into the web. We recently made Aliyah from Melbourne, Australia, not from the 5 towns, from Melbourne, Australia. At the time, we were making a tough decision on which pizza to buy at Osherad. You and your wife gave us very valuable advice about which pizza, but at the same time told my husband about the Daf of the Rebelli. Yes, you're the #1 missionary. I've seen a total switch in my husband's learning since he started with the Rebelli. Many thanks to you, Eli, and the entire team for spreading the light of Torah. Wishing you much continued success in all you do. And happy birthday. So happy birthday, Kalman. Beautiful. Rabbi Say, here we go. This perek, you're going to remember for the rest of your lives. Every single day we have brand new musagim, ideas and concepts for the entire Shas. And today's no different. Today we're going to be discussing things like davar, goyrem l'mamayin kemamayin, or kamle b'derabimene. And then we have a very, very surprise sugya all the way at the end. I even brought some pots for the sugya. We're not going to be cooking here. Says the Gemara, we're holding Daf Koyach Amud Beis all the way in the bottom. Daf Chavches Amud Beis Mani Masnisen. So, what we had yesterday, I didn't make a bracha yet, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol neh b'dvaroi. This one cup is not going to make it today, I'm telling you. No. You stay up there, it's fine. All right, we had a Mishnah, famous Mishnah, Chametz she'over lav Pesach. Chametz she'over lav Pesach, if it's the chametz of a goy, is a mutar bahana. If it's that of a Jew, aser bahana. And then the Gemara said, Mani Masnisen. Who does this Mishnah go? And gives us a whole long arichos and doesn't even come up with a question. So this is what we came up with yesterday. Basically, we had 3 shitas, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Rabbi Yehuda holds, this is before Pesach, pizzas after Pesach. We had a whole discussion, what is a common food that's eaten right before Pesach after you can't eat chametz anymore. and I think hapchitz or whatever it's called, that shalom, the meat thing, yapches, there, yapche. That was the number one consensus, but I don't have a picture of that, so we stay with the macaroons that are given out at the siyum. Fine. And then on Pesach you eat matzah. Zelo meshena. This is just for visual. Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that before Pesach, it's also ba'ano, it's also ba'achila. Ano, it's always osir. Before Pesach, after Pesach, and on Pesach. Then you have Reb Shimon that says only on Pesach is it osir ba'ano. Before Pesach, in other words, from the time that you have to burn your chametz till Pesach itself, mutar b'hano. After Pesach, mutar b'hano. Rabbi Yosef Aglili says, even on Pesach itself, you could benefit from chametz. You could sit in the shade of chametz, do whatever you want with the chametz. You can't eat it, obviously, but you could benefit. Says the Gemara, Mani masnisin. So our Mishnah that discusses chametz shavar of Pesach, who does it go according to? Rabbi Yehuda. If it's this Rabbi Yehuda that says Isra Hano is before and after, all throughout, there's no difference. There's a Isra D'Oraisa here, Isra D'Oraisa here, over here it's Isra D'Oraisa and Kares. Chametz, Stomach Omar, Afilu Dinachri. So Rabbi Yehuda doesn't mention anything, he just says Stam Chametz. Even that of a guy. So what are you telling me? Chametz Shavar of a Pesach of a guy, you're allowed to benefit. You're allowed to go to Dunkin' Donuts, right? If a guy owns chametz, people go immediately to the store right after Pesach is over and buy from him. Why? It's chametz shavar of Pesach. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't differentiate between a Jew and a non-Jew. Reb Shimon, and if it goes according to Reb Shimon, the Yisrael nami mishra koshari chametz shavar of Pesach. He holds mutter. So why does our Mishnah say only that of a guy and that of a yid is osir? And if you go according to the third shita, forget about a Jew, forget about a guy, it's mutter on Pesach. The Mishnah says that after Pesach, we're talking about after Pesach. Omar of Acho Bar Yaakov La'olam, Rabbi Yehuda, it's going according to Rabbi Yehuda that what? That the chametz is always also before and after Pesach. V'yalev sa'or da'achila misa'or diri'iyah. So one more time, I brought it again. This is sa'ar. It's a leavening agent. That's what this is. If I haven't explained it, I'll explain it again. You take this, you pour a little bit of it into your dough mixture, and that's what gives it the leaven. How do you say leaven? What is leaven? Whatever, you guys understand. Leaven.
It's the rising agent.
No, it's not the rising. The rising agent is the rising agent. I don't think this gives it its, I don't know, okay. I don't think it's the rising agent. The leavening, not the rising. V'yalev sa'ar da'achila misar diri'iyah. And he learns the sa'ar by eating from the sa'ar of having it there. Masar diri'iyah shel choyat toroya aval toroya shel achirim shel gavoya. So, says Rav Yaakov, that just like this leavening agent, it's okay if it's that of a guy and that of Hegdish. If a guy deposits, asks you to watch this, it's not a problem. You hear what's going on here? Says Rav Yaakov, Baruch Hashem, it's nitcha. But the Gemara now understands, according to Rav Yaakov, that on Pesach you could eat pizza. If it's that of a guy. Now, how is it possible to eat pizza from a guy? Tosfos says, impossible. If the guy gives it to you as a present, then it's not the guy's. If you steal it from him, it's not the guy's. It's impossible. So what do you say? Okay, so goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. So if I was writing the Mishnah, I would love to publish this tremendous chiddush that you could eat pizza on Pesach, provided that it belongs to a guy. But it doesn't say that in the Mishnah. Why not? Because we're talking about Hana of the Jew, that's Asr. So in Mela, the opposing thing would be Mutter B'Hana of a guy. But it's a much greater chiddush. I could even eat it Okay. We missed that point because we wanted it to be consistent with the rest of the Mishnah, with the Yisrael Asabahana. Ubedinu, there's another problem. You're talking about after Pesach. Tell me on Pesach, also a much bigger chiddush. Okay, that also we missed. Okay. It just flows nicer. The Yisrael we're talking about after Pesach, so too the guy after Pesach. But you know what? If it's the guys even on Pesach, even eating, it's all good. Rav Amar, Loi Lom Rebbe Shimoni. So we have one pshat in our Mishnah that goes according to Rebbe Yehuda. Rav comes along and says, no, it's Rebbe Shimon, the middle shita. That what? That after Pesach, Chometz after Pesach is Mutter Bahana, says Rebbe Shimon. Rebbe Shimon Knasa Kanes, and that's why we mentioned yesterday when we were reading the Mishnah, Rashi sticks this in. That in fact, Midaraisa, you're allowed to benefit from Chometz. Just what? It's a knas. Since this person did something bad, he was over an aveira of Bayiro. So therefore, I gave him a knas. You can't benefit from it. Okay. Of that of a guy, it's not a problem. There's a knas on that. What's the aveira? What did he do wrong? That he was over on Bal Yira, so therefore we gave him a knas. Yesterday, Rabbi Isai, I don't know if Menachem Mateh was on or not, but he didn't correct me. I don't know why. I did it quickly after Shabbos, and I got 3 for 3 wrong. All 3. Mishkabab. Lo Yachal comes to tell us, we said there's 3 psukim, what do they come to say? Lo Yachal comes to tell us, after Pesach it's Asur, according to Rabbi Yehuda. So, you're telling me, Rav Acher Yaakov is telling me Pshat in Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda says that after Pesach, this is the pasuk, Lo Yachal. What's the Mishnah talking about? After Pesach. After Pesach, Mutabano, not Mutabano. What's the pasuk for Isra Hana after Pesach? The green, Lo Yachal. So why does the Mishnah bring the wrong pasuk? It tells me the pasuk of Lo Yira in the Mishnah. Look at the Mishnah. Now, as Rashi explains in the Mishnah, and that's what Rav explains, that Lo Yira is the penalty. Because you were over on Lo Yira, therefore we gave you a penalty. Also Bahana. Don't think you're going to benefit from it. You left it over in your store on Pesach, you didn't do anything about it. You're not going to be able to benefit, you're not going to be able to sell it. But according to Rav Acher Yaakov, it's not the pasuk Lo Yira, it's the wrong pasuk. Lo Yachel tells me that you can't have benefit after Pesach. Says the Gemara, Misavris Asepikoi. You think that pasuk is talking about the last part of the Mishnah? Areshikoi, Vachikamar. This is the pshat. Chametz shel nachi shovel of Pesach, mutabano. The chametz of a guy that saw Pesach, you're allowed to benefit from it after Pesach. Mishum shenemar lo yira lecha. So it's going on the beginning. Lo yira lecha shechaya taroya. Taroya shel acherim shel gavoya. V'yalef sa'or da'achila misa'or deri'iyah. As we said before, you learn one sa'or from the other. And this, remember Rabbi said, this is what the Gemara on Amud Beis is going to show that it's not true. That what? That you're permitted, this tremendous chiddush, you're permitted on Pesach to benefit from the chametz of a guy. You're allowed to eat it, do whatever you want with it. Sa'or da'achila misa'or deri'iyah. Says the Gemara of Azdol Tamayu. Rava and Rav Acher, each one go according to their own shita. Ditmar. If you eat this stuff, mamish, the shtik chametz, this is not even bread. This is what creates bread. The leavening agent. L'divri Rabbi Yehuda, big nace I had last time I brought this. I was going like this, I was pouring it over my Gemara, not realizing that this cover was completely open. And then I put it back in here, and there's a tremendous mess. I came back home. I gave my wife her leavening agent. I just stuck it back in the fridge, didn't tell her what happened. Like, but she said it's fine. It reproduces. You just add a little this and a little that. Fine. Nisim of the Torah. The Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, It's supposed to be open, she said. That's why if it's not, I'm going to have to remember to, whatever. I sneak it out, put it back, kilu lehoya, but I have to open it back. Remind me. L'divrei Rabbi Yehuda. You eat this leavening of a guy after Pesach. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that says that after Pesach, there's an Isser Hana. Yeah, according to Rabbi Yehuda, also Bahana. Rav Amalaika, you get Malchus. Makes sense. This is the Raisa. It's a lav. Yes, it's not Karis. The only Karis we have is on Pesach itself. After Pesach is a lav. Rav Amalaika, lo yalef Rabbi Yehuda, sar dachilim sar deriya. He doesn't have this drush of sar to take away the Malchus. It's a lav and memela, a lav gets Malchus. Rav Yaakov Amar, ein aloika, yalef sar dachilim sar deriya, to teach us that there's no Isser. So now the Gemara proves, how do we know that Rav Acher Bar Yaakov doesn't hold of what he said? He took it back. So the question here that we're going to be discussing is, does Chametz on Pesach have any value? For what? Because when you use Chametz of the Beis HaMikdash on Pesach, are you over on Me'ilah? You have to bring a karba, and you have to pay an extra 25%. It's dependent whether this object has any value. If it has zero value, so you're not moil. You didn't do anything. You didn't use the Beis HaMikdash anything. Yeah, it's a loaf of bread owned by the Beis HaMikdash in the middle of Chol Hamoed Pesach. Tell me what value it has. You can't eat it. You can't do anything with it. So what value? Now, it might have value if you could sell it. You could trade it in, give it to a guy, give it to a dog. Then maybe it has value. And then you would be over. The Sanya Oichel Chametz Shel Hegdish B'Moyed Ma'al. Now, Rashi points out right away that this sugi is going according to Reb Shimon. That after Pesach, it has value. So the question is today. Today, on Pesach, does it have value or not? Tomorrow, it's going to have value. That I know. After Pesach, it's going to be very valuable. It's geschmack. Fine. There is Me'ilah. There's no Me'ilah. You took something that's valueless. Man, who says this? This goes according to Rabbi Nechunya. The sign of Rabbi Nechunya, unbelievable halacha for all of Shas. That is, if you shoot somebody and kill somebody, and by doing that you made a hole in his jacket with the bullet, you're not chayiv on the jacket because that person that killed is chayiv misa. If somebody burns a pile of wheat, his friend's wheat, he's a arsonist, he goes and he burns the guy's wheat on Shabbos. So since he's chayiv misa for doing it on Shabbos, he's potter for paying for the wheat. You could only get the larger of the two punishments. Kamle b'derabimene. Since this guy is chayiv misa, he doesn't have to pay the monetary stuff. So Memela, so Yom Kippur is like Shabbos. Ma Shabbos mischayiv b'nafshoy. A person who gets misa, potter menat tashlumim. Af Yom Kippurim mischayiv b'nafshoy. Upotar menat tashlumim. So that's it. So Meila, this guy is eating chametz on Pesach. He's chayiv kares, so he doesn't have any monetary obligation. You take the larger of the two. His punishment is kares, death by shomayim. He's potter from the donut. Now there's a major question here. Let me ask you: how's a guy chayiv misa? Only if he does it on purpose. B'mezid. If he does it on purpose, guess what? It's not Me'ilah that we learned the other day. Bishgaga. Me'ilah is only B'shaygig. So he did it B'shaygig? He's not Chayiv Misa. Which one is it? Decide what he did here. Did he know what he was doing? He had intent and he's Chayiv Misa? Then it's not Me'ilah. He didn't have intent and it's Me'ilah? So he's not Chayiv Misa. Says Rashi, it's a toast. This kash is a mistake. He knew that it was Pesach. He just didn't know it's Hegdish. He knew and he didn't know. So when it came to Pesach, he's Chayiv Misa because he knew, he had intent. He says, I'm being over now in chametz, I know it's Pesach. But he just didn't know it was owned by the Beis Hamikdash. On that, he's a shaygig. But Taisa says something very interesting. It's a very interesting shita of Chizkiah. Believe it or not, there's a shita called Chizkiah who says that if a person does something by mistake, he kills somebody by mistake, he's potter for the jacket. If somebody lights a fire by mistake, he burns his friend's house down by mistake on Shabbos, by mistake. So he's not chayiv misa because it's a mistake. But he's also potter for paying for the house. He's not liable for the house. It's unbelievable chiddush. It's a gzeres hakasav. You think, it has to do with the larger punishment. He did something terrible, so Memela, and he's chayiv misa, so he doesn't have to pay for the house. No, over here he's not chayiv misa, so Memela, he did it b'shoygig according to Tosfos. He did it b'shoygig, and b'shoygig you still have commonly b'derabim minei. That Tosfos you're asking to? Okay. Rav Yosef Amar.
Moment when he really thought, we didn't do that.
No, I only do what Tosfos does. Somebody told me that he heard a whole shir. Somebody, my son-in-law told me, and I remember, he heard a whole shir about interesting catch-22s in Shas, and that Tosfos appears in that shir. Rav Yosef Amar, whether or not you have the right to redeem this kachim in order to feed it to a dog or to somebody that's not Jewish, let's say, could you redeem it? And if you can, then it has value. If you can't, it doesn't have value. Because since I could redeem it and give it to the dog, it has monetary value. Fine. Now we're turning to Daf Chavtes Amud Beis. Ravacha bar Rava tonalei laho shmaitzim shmeider Rav Yosef Balishna. Learned a little differently. The kulni yama and poidim sakadoshim lachinun leklovim. Everybody agrees you cannot redeem it for a dog. It's hegdish. It's kedush laguf. You're going to give it to a dog. Mapitom. So, where's the monetary value? Bedavar hagoyrem lemomoin kemamin dami. A brand new concept. Another concept. Davar hagoyrem lemomoin kemamin dami. Something that has value tomorrow is considered as if it has value right now. So this chametz right now is zero value, zero. But tomorrow, after Pesach, it's very valuable. Is that considered money today? Is it considered monetary value today? Let me ask you something. What about a check? A check, it says, in a week from now, the check is good. Deposit in a week from now. Is that davar hagorim l'mamin or not? No, what does the Olam say? It's davar hagorim l'mamin. Yes. What do you say? Anybody? Anybody on Zoom? Is a check that's valuable tomorrow. Shalom Aleichem, Eli Dykman, and Rabbi Yitzchak Bernhak. Wow. And who did I just see from Toronto? Oh, Jay Spitzer. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Jay. So, davar hagorim l'mamin. A check. It says $1,000, but it's only good for me to deposit in a week from now. Davar hagorim ato omer Ruven. Huh? It has to have value now? Oh, Reuven saying Givaldik. Very good, but Reuven is right. A check that you could deposit in a week from now has value today. It's not $1,000, but $500. People will buy it for something. They'll buy it for $700, $900, whatever it is. It has value. But chametz on Pesach has zero value. You can't do anything with it right now. Right now you can't eat it. You can't do anything with it. So you have to wait a week. Oh, wait a week. That's something else. Says the Gemara. So it's just a shaila, davar hagorim l'mamin k'mamin or not. Does it have value today or not? And finally, I don't know if you realize, we're trying to get to one point. The Ravacha Bar Yaakov took back, retracted his halacha that he allowed to eat pizza on Pesach. How do we know? Because everybody agrees that it should have value today because in a week from now it has value. The machlokes is this famous machlokes of Rabbi Yehuda and Shimon. is there Issa Hana after Pesach or not? Man dom aloi moal ki Rabbi Yehuda. It never has value. Look at this. XXX, even after Pesach, it doesn't have value. Uman the Omar Moal Kirb Shimon, he holds check. You could use it after Pesach, and Memela, it has value. So ask the Gemara, he says that chametz of Hegdish is mutter on Pesach. Ella, that's what he said before. Ella, you see that he doesn't hold of that at all. He just said a second ago that according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's also the zero hana over here. What do you mean zero hana? He said it's mutter on Pesach. He took it back. He holds it's not mutter on Pesach. That's why the zero hana. Rav Ashi Omar the kuli almo ein poidim v'davar hagorim l'mamoin lav kemamoin dami. So everybody holds you cannot redeem it. You can't give it to a dog. V'davar hagorim l'mamoin lav kemamoin dami. So memela right now it's not valuable at all. Don't say, oh, but you could wait. No, right now it doesn't have value. So what's the shayla? Here, going back to this machlokes. Look, Rabbi Yossi Aglili says you could benefit from it. Even on Pesach, he says, check, you could benefit from it. So Mandom Armal Rabbi Yossi. He holds like Rabbi Yossi Aglili that you could benefit from it. And therefore, if you could benefit from something from Hegdish, it's Mila. Uman dom aloi ma'al Rabbanan. Who's Rabbanan? What are Rabbanan? These two. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Holding you're not allowed to benefit on Pesach. Shalom Yisrael. Rabbi Yisrael, here we go. A beautiful Shas Sugya that will, if you pay attention now, it's very valuable for many, many different things. So we have like this. We want to talk about, a short Sugya, don't worry about it, short Sugya. We want to talk about chametz on Pesach, if you mix it into something that's not chametz. You take chametz, it happens in the hotels. You take by mistake, I was in a hotel, our hotel, it happened to us. We didn't realize that the vinegar was mamish chametz. And they made food with it. So what's the halacha? So in a regular, our hotel, because we run it and own it, so we were able to, a lot of hotels, I heard from Mashgichim, it's not the same thing. Sometimes they just, whatever, fine. Chametz on Pesach, you get chametz, and it goes into a mixture. Now, the Torah says, Achri Rabim Lahatois. We go by the Roiv, whatever the majority is. So that's maybe when the things are dry goods. You have a piece of matzah, a piece of bread, got mixed in. If more matzah than bread, fine. But when it's liquid, and you're cooking it, now we have to deal with nois and tam. Does it impart flavor? Not impart flavor? Also the idea of min b'minoi. So I just want to, because I don't have a real good picture for it. This is min b'minoi. So this is kosher Pesach. Yeah, vanda. Matzah meal. And this over here is mamish chometz, treif. But look how little we got over here. I didn't even have to do this is what was left over. You see this? So this is min b'minoi. So if I put these two together, they have the same flavor. It's the same everything. So Rav and Shmuel say it's impossible to mevatel this. This tiny bit of chometz, these few grains of flour that go into here with the kosher Pesach flour are 100% osur. Why? Because min b'minoi. It's the same product. But if I take, and this is for you, Gary, when I'm done with this, you're going to like this. Look at this. You know what? Let me take it out of the bag first. I can touch it with my hands and I'll give it to you. It's gewaldig, this thing. This was a gift. Look at this. See this? My neighbor made this. I got this as a gift yesterday. I showed it. Somebody from Muncie said that he's been learning the daf for 30 years and he finally gets the daf. So he gave me a whole box of these. It's beautiful stuff. It's called a chocolate bomb. This woman lives right behind us on next to Noam. It's called Sweet Tooth. If anybody, she didn't ask me to say this. It's just so beautiful that You put this in a hot glass of milk, and it explodes. Out comes chocolate and marshmallows, but it looks really good. I'm giving this to the Gary as a matana. He's going to try it out, and he's going to tell me. If you put these two things that have no connection with each other, you put this, huh?
Hot milk back here.
Hot milk, yeah. We'll try it out right now. Put these two in. It's min shaloi b'minoi. So that's different. That's less of a problem. When it's the same min, major problem. So let's see inside now. So you know what? Well, just as a, I don't know if you could even read this. We have on Pesach and after Pesach. Rav and Shmuel are similar in a way, and Rabbi Yochanan is different. Rav says, mashuhu, if it's a very small amount of chametz, like we just showed, it doesn't matter. Even loy b'minoi, right? We said minoi is the biggest problem. It's the same thing. Flour and flour, chametz and matzah is a big problem. But even shaloi b'minoi is asur. Why would Rav say that? Throughout the Torah, we don't say that. When it comes to chaylev and bas b'chal, we don't say that. Chametz, we say that. He makes a gzeira. Why? Because chametz has karas, and chametz loy bedili. People are not careful with chametz. They don't know. They don't recognize. They use this vinegar, and it comes into Pesach, and they use the same vinegar. They don't realize that there's something to worry about. Whereas the whole year, you're worried about blood, you're worried about chaylev, you're worried about all this stuff. Shmuel says, if it's just a mashu, and that's what they're talking about, the smallest amount that doesn't give a flavor, it doesn't give nice and tam, so only minoi is also like everything else in the Torah. There's no special gzeira when it comes to chametz. And Rabbi Yochanan argues, and he says that if it's a mashu, it has to be nice and tam. It has to give, only flavor makes a mixture asur. That's on Pesach. After Pesach, Rav agrees that mashu's asur only b'minoi. He doesn't make a gzeira shaloi b'minoi. And he holds, like Rabbi Yehuda, that after Pesach, chametz is asur. So therefore, mashu is asur. But Shmuel argues with him and says that we don't go like Rabbi Yehuda. We go with Reb Shimon, that after Pesach, chametz is mutter, so even a mixture is mutter. And there's a very cool Rosh Tevis in the Sugya, Nois and Tam, Num Vav Tes. So remember that, yeah? Huh? Nun Tes, okay. He says Nun Tes. Fine. I did Nun Vav Tes. Amaritz. But it goes better. I've seen places where it's written with a Vav, no? You never seen? Okay. Nun Tes. What's the Rosh Tevis for Bas B'chalav? We're not getting there. We're not even going to touch that word today. All right. Zog the Gemara inside. Omar Rav.
Not for not.
Okay, not for that. Noch a Talmud Chacham over here. Omar Rav. Chametz bezmanoi. Chametz bezmanoi. Chametz on Pesach. Bein b'minoi, bein shalei b'minoi, asur. It doesn't matter if it's mixed with another item like that chocolate. It's asur. The bigger chiddush is the chocolate than flour with flour. Shaloi b'zmanoi. But after Pesach, when there's no karas anymore, b'minoi asur, shaloi b'minoi mutar. So this is Rav. So let's talk about it for a second. Says the Gemara b'mayaskin on ilem ben noisen tam. Noisen tam is a fancy way to say 1/60th. It imparts flavor, and typically we say that means 1/60th. Anything less than 1/60th, if it's 1/61, it doesn't impart flavor. Shaloi b'zmanoi, shaloi b'minoi, mutar. So you're telling me it imparts flavor, and if it imparts flavor after Pesach, because we hold like Rabbi Yehuda that after Pesach it's asur b'hana after Pesach, but it imparted flavor. So who cares if it's a different thing? So what if it's a chocolate and flour? It imparted flavor to the chocolate, or the flour put flavor into it, so it should be asur. Hayoyev taima, ela b'mashu. It's not a nice and tam. No, it's a mashu. You can't taste it in the mixture. So therefore, chametz bizmanoi, if it's on Pesach, bein b'minoi. There's a lot of words here, but it's not complicated. If you look at it for a second, you'll see it's not complicated. Chametz bizmanoi, chametz on Pesach, bein b'minoi, bein shaloi b'minoi asur. Why? Why is chametz in a mixture not with its type, asur? When all over the Torah, when you can't taste it. If I take a piece of fatty pork and put it into my chont, and you cannot taste the pork. Well, chont is different. Well, I took the beans, whatever, and then I mixed it in there, and I can't taste it. It's shaloi b'mino, it's mutter. Why all of a sudden over here is it aser? Rav the Tamei, the Rav Ushmuel Damar Tavayu Kol Yisurim Shabbat Torah b'mino b'mashuhu. Yeah, if it's the same exact thing, this, and where's the other one? This and this, b'minoi, it's even the smallest amount, like in this container. Rav gozar chometz bizmanoi. What? Shaloi b'minoi b'noisen tam. Thank you. But if it's not the same thing, if it's this guy and this guy, you need to taste the flour. If you don't taste it, it's 100% mutter. So Rav gozar chometz bizmanoi shaloi b'minoi otu minoi. So Nachmal, Rav made a special gzeira because chometz is very different than everything else in the Torah. Chometz has kares. And chametz nobody's careful with. Not that they're not careful, they don't know how to be careful. It's 7 days of the year that you have to do this mitzvah. So they don't know how to be careful. And therefore he made a gzeira, shaloi b'minoi. He took the shaloi b'minoi, the chocolate and the flour, and he said that's also aser. Atu minoi, because of flour and flour. V'shaloi b'zmanoi. And when it's not Pesach anymore, Pesach is over. So Rabbi Yehuda in Pesach over says, still aser, but not kares. Not kares, you don't have to make a gzeira. The whole point of the gzeira is because it's kares and lo b'dili. You don't have that reason after Pesach. It's just a lav like chaylev, a lav like eating chazer. So memela, he didn't make the gzeira. V'shaloi b'zmanoi b'minoi asur. Did I skip that? V'shaloi b'zmanoi b'minoi asur ki Rabbi Yehuda. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda that after Pesach it's asur. V'shaloi b'minoi mutar. However, it's mutar when it's chocolate and flour, chametz flour. V'shaloi b'zmanoi v'shaloi b'minoi otu minoi kuli hayli gazrinon. I don't have to make such a crazy gzeira. All right. So Akopanim, we see that, at least according to Rav, chametz is more chamer than all the yisurim in the Torah. Yes, you have to be more careful with a mixture of chametz on Pesach than a mixture of chazer during the weekday. Shmuel Amar, chametz bezmanoi b'minoi asur, shaloi b'minoi mutar. Comes along, Shmuel says, he holds with this concept we're going to see in a second, that kol yisurim shabbat Torah b'minoi b'mashu, shaloi b'minoi b'minoi tam. They agree. Rav just says you have to make a gzeira. Compare the two, min and shaloi b'min. And Shmuel says don't compare the two. Don't make a gzeira on Pesach. So therefore, chametz bizmanoi b'minoi asur shaloi b'minoi mutar. Chametz on Pesach. Let's go like the rest of the Torah. If you mix a flour that's chametz with a flour that's matzah, then it's asur. Shaloi b'minoi. But if you take flour and mix it with chocolate, mutar. But after Pesach, everything is a mutter. You know why? Because Shmuel, hold like Reb Shimon that after Pesach, there's no gzeira at all. There's no lab. So everything's mutter after Pesach. And the Gemara explains nicely. Chametz bizmanoi b'minoi asur. Why? Shmuel etamei, the Rav, the Shmuel, both. Rav a second ago said, Damar tavayu kol yisurim shabbat Torah, b'minoi asurim b'mashu, shaloi b'minoi noisen tam. Everything in the Torah, and chametz is like everything in the Torah. That what? There's a difference between with the same item and a different item. If it's the same item, b'mashu, meaning without nois and tam, it doesn't give any flavor at all, asur. You cannot be mevatel it at all. How can you mevatel it? It's in there. You don't taste it. Shalom aleichem, you don't taste it. It's the same exact as the chametz. How are you going to taste it? You can't taste it. It's not something you can taste on your taste buds. So memela it's asur. Shaloi b'minoi. But if you take flour and you throw it into chocolate, if you don't taste it, it means it's not there. It's not there halachically. Not because it's the same, it's different. And if you don't taste it, it's mutter. And I don't hold like Rav, Shaloi b'mina, not the minam, like Gozar. I'm not going to make Xeris here. I have no reason to make Xer. Shaloi b'zmanoi. And why does Shmuel say that after Pesach it's all mutter? Bein b'mina, bein Shaloi b'mina mutar. Kireb Shimon. I hold like Reb Shimon that after Pesach there's no Chometz Sha'avar Lava Pesach. Wait a minute. Didn't we just say that Reb Shimon holds that after Pesach there is Chometz Sha'avar Lava Pesach? There's a Knas. For that we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Not in a mixture. There's a Knas. Yeah, a donut. If you leave over a donut, a piece of pizza from Pesach to after Pesach, yes, there's a Knas. It's the Rabbanon Knas, not in a mixture. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, the last shita here. Simple stuff. Chometz bizmanoi, chometz on Pesach, bein b'minoi, ubein shaloi b'minoi, asur b'noisen tam. I needed to impart flavor, whether... Oh, so you hear this? Even b'minoi. Flour and flour, says Rabbi Yochanan, I need flavor. If I don't taste it, not awesome. Very different than Rav and Shmuel. Only when there's a flavor tasted. Then it's also no flavor tasted, mutter. And after Pesach, mutter, according to who? Shimon. Why? Rabbi Yochanan Tamei, the Rabbi Yochanan Vish Lakish Damer Tavayu call Yisurim Shabbat Torah. What's the deciding factor, says Rabbi Yochanan? Flavor. So if you can taste it, it's asur. You can't taste it, even in min b'minoi, even the same exact items, flour and flour, you cannot taste, not asur. Shloi b'zmanoi, bein b'minoi shloi b'minoi mitarim, kireb Shimon. And therefore, and this is Pashat, after Pesach, I hold like Reb Shimon, that there's no Isser Chomesh Shalav Pesach, so it doesn't matter, min, shalei min, noisin tam, not noisin tam, mutter. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and week. Shir Hamalois. Shir Hamalois, Adinoi, Shema B'Kreliti, Adinoi. Yema V'Nitz Shmo Yo Adinoi Miyamoid. Chas Tichol Emanti V'Rei. Yeshil Adrim Shomrim Laboike, Hashem Laboike. Yechei Yisrael Adonai Giman Me'achesed Avim Bruch. Ui V'dei Yisrael Mikol Avim Yisrael, V'achenek Avim Yisrael. Boys, I forgot to say a happy birthday to Akiva Solway. Check him out. Happy. Could you believe he's only 12 years old? Only 12. It's unbelievable, these kids. How did these kids do it?